Hello, hola, and buenas, buenas. Welcome back to La Cuna Galaxiana, a podcast made with love. On tonight's episode, we'll be reacting to the LA Galaxy's 2-1 away loss to the Columbus Crew on Wednesday, April 22nd, a game that was much more uneven than the scoreline implies. We'll break down why the Galaxy struggled, more bad news on the injury front, and look ahead to this weekend's match against RSL for Kobe Jones statue unveil night. We'll be joined by Andrew Hernandez of Nuestra Galaxia Futbolera and the COC Network to help us break everything down. Plus, we get you caught up on a wild MLS Match Day 9. All of that and more coming up on La Cuna Galaxiana. DJ Cito, you know what to do. Cheese up! Chicka chicka.
Yeah. Let's get it started with a new year, new me. Una Galaxiana still reporting on the news feed, yeah. And you know who it be, the 6 stars on the jersey, putting work in the league. Word on the street, we rip teams immaculately. We see the players come and go, but I'm forever a G. And you can catch me yelling tactics on the field when I leave. Get it together like I'm Vanney when I'm giving a speech. Back to the pitch, score goals, dribbling tricks. I heard a transfer window rumor, let me see who it is. I got statistics on the player, puzzle pieces that fit. Con este show que es tan bilingüe que tu papi lo ve. Rápido pues, hablando de este club otra vez. En las buenas y en las malas, we got love for the crest, love for LA. Let's get it started, light up the stage. Every week on Monday night I'm tuning into the place. Yeah, you know what it is. It's La Cuna Galaxiana, 4th season, Rob Ananda. And my name, ya te lo sabes.
Welcome back to La Cuna Galaxiana, a podcast made with love for all you LA Galaxy fans, wherever you may be out there in the world. And I know you need a little bit extra of that love. And honestly, I hope that that song that you just heard made you feel just a little bit better, because that, I mean, geez, it keeps on growing on me. And you know, that's the 4th version of our theme song that big Arquitekto Verbal has done. And it's starting to become my favorite, I think. Just super good. Shout out Arquitekto. I'm one of your co-hosts, Rob Halone. You can find my written work at the Sporting Tribune. That's right, I write things sometimes. Go ahead and check it out. Read it. And you can find me online at El Escudero de LA. And since I'm here, you know what it is. As usual, el yerno guapo y el gitano perdido, el papá de Natita y Ananda Kirana, my co-host.
I need a sound effect for that.
Yeah, I know. We need a soundboard, dog. Like,
yeah,
we need to invest in a soundboard. Anyway, man, you're not having a good times football wise, dog. And I was with you in spirit all day yesterday, and then, you know, it got worse in the evening.
Yeah, man. Less said about that, the better. And I guess less said about Galaxy soccer right now, the better. Because
so what you're saying is we're packing it in.
What I'm saying is we're back. We're back. No, I'm just kidding. Back in 13th. Woohoo. Close thereabouts. But no, man. Obviously, it's been a frustrating week. Frustrating, really, like 7-10 days of footy. And yesterday was a very frustrating performance, and that is my one-word reaction, Pop. I'm just gonna get right to it. Frustrating. I think I think we're going to talk a lot about this with our very special guest for the evening. So I'm going to save a lot of this for later, but I'm just going to chalk it up to this, which is I understand why after seeing a performance like that, fans are going to go online and just rant and, like, you know, voice their displeasure about this team, because nothing about that performance was good other than the last 5 minutes. It was a frustrating performance. Like, you watch that game and you're like, why am I even watching? Like, what are we watching? Right. And like, I know both of us, we have the privilege and are fortunate enough to cover this team, and obviously, like, you know, report to you guys and let you guys know what we see, what we hear, take you guys into the locker room, take you guys into the tunnel as much as possible. But Rob, first and foremost, and I'm going to speak on your behalf as well, like, we started as Galaxy fans. Like, we wear our fan hats on all the time. And so I can see why fans are so frustrated having to pay top, it's not cheap, right? Like having to pay top dollar to watch this team day in and day out, week in and week out. And performances like that are not going to help restore the faith in this fan base. So I'm just going to chalk it up to frustrating, and we'll talk about it a little bit more with Andrew. So lots to chew on there.
Sofocante, which is means kind of like stifling, kind of like you're drowning. Sofocante means just like smothering, and that's kind of like what Columbus was like on the Galaxy, and just credit to them. And we're lamenting a Galaxy performance, but Columbus played really good ball as well. Like, they had a really good game plan. So those both things combined didn't make for a really good night for Greg Vanney's team. But yeah, man, I would just have to say Sofocante, just smothering, just in every sense of the word, just like something that hangs on you and you can't shake, man. Just like just that sense of dread and worry, just looking over your shoulder, just like, man, you just no sense of peace, no sense of rest, and they couldn't ever get comfortable. And I'm sounding too much like like a cheap paperback thriller novel, but it's like they never look settled, and credit to Columbus for that.
Yeah. I mean, we would like to think it's just a bad day in the office, but I think we've seen a little too many bad days in the office. But again, we will get to all that.
Might be a bad Q1,
and we'll see if this is an anomaly, or this is just going to be a repeat of last season, or thereabouts, unfortunately. But we got a lot to get to. So Rob,
yeah, do that housekeeping, dog.
Yeah, well, first of all, guys, if you have not yet, like Rob, or like I always tell Rob to tell you guys that, a third of you guys that do listen to the show are not subscribed. So if you do like listening to two knuckleheads talk about,
it makes me so sad.
Absolutely talk about nonsense and waffle around the LA Galaxy, you can go ahead and hit the notification bells and subscribe to this channel. We are on the road to 900, so go ahead and do that. And as I always say, for us individually, you can always follow me, block me, or stalk me at Ananda Galaxiana. You can find us on all of your socials at Lacuna Galaxiana. Rob still doesn't know if we're on Blue Sky, and yes, Rob, we are on Blue Sky officially. So there you go. Shout out to you, man. And of course, guys, journalism. Whether it's on your way in or on your way out, go ahead and hit the like button. That would help us out as well. And if you have something to get off your chest, if you are as frustrated as my one-word reaction was, and all that good stuff, go ahead, and if you have a question for Andrew, go ahead, and super chats are open and available. So yeah, guys, that's that. And if there's nothing else on your end, Papa, como siempre, antes de olvidarme, buenos días o noches. Bienvenidos a otro capítulo de Sad Foo Hours. Sad Foo Hours. Yeah. I don't know where I was going. I don't know where I was going with that. I don't know what key. I don't know what key I was in.
No. I like it. We can build on that for sure. You got the bass right there. I can get the trebles.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say, there's been a couple of times now when I've looked for our Blue Sky and I haven't found it, which is why I'm still doubting its existence. So somebody in chat, go ahead and prove me wrong. Send me a link or something like that, because I still can't find that. But anyway, and I digress. Yeah, we have the homie Andrew to get to. One of our friends of the show, one of our frequent guests, fantastic writer as well. Again, we write things, guys. We would appreciate the support, and I know that Andrew would as well. We'll get to him in just 1 second as well. You guys heard a lot from us yesterday in the instant reaction, so it'll be good to get a fresh take on yesterday and what exactly Andrew saw from this match as well. But before we get to him, really quickly, we want to go ahead and remind you that Aitona Bonmati is in the U.S. this summer, and you can go ahead and attend her camp. She's running 2 camps, one in San Diego, the 4-day sesh that you can join. That's from 6:22 to 6:25. And that'll be at Marie Curie. And of course, we'll give you guys information on how to find out more here in a sec. But just to let you know, if you don't want to go all the way to San Diego, not that it's a long way, and it's certainly a beautiful place, you can stay here at home and catch the 1-day camp on 6/24. Sessions will run from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And the benefit of that is that our very own Nandy will be on the operations staff. He'll be volunteering, and you'll get to also get instruction from a bunch of UEFA licensed coaches. And I guess I should tell you who this camp is open to: boys and girls ages 6 to 16. All skill levels welcome. Players will be grouped by age and skill level. So yeah, I mean, you're gonna get your little one valuable instruction, and yes, Aitana Bonmati will be on hand and probably even leading some drills. Ananda's flashing the discount code right there. Well, he was a second ago. There it is again. Woo! Lacuna 26, and that'll get you $50 off of your registration. And as promised, where you can find out more, the Instagram is US Aitana Bonmati Camp. And you can go to the same usaitona.bonmaticamp.com for more info. And guys, Aitona Bonmati is already a kind of like a legend, and she's still kind of on the field. I mean, she's done a lot already. But this weekend, the Galaxy are honoring their first legend. Before there was David Beckham, before there was Landon, before there was King Kino, there was Kobe Jones. And I remember growing up and thinking that Kobe was one of the coolest MFers in the world, the way he glided on the field. He's, my dog is named in part in his honor. And this weekend, Galaxy fans get to show how much he means to us at his statue unveiling. And there's a lot going on around him this weekend. One of the things that's going on around him is the exclusive merch drop that the Galaxy are doing with Kobe Jones. That dropped actually today. And so we have it here on the screen. If you are listening audio only, there's a hoodie and a t-shirt. The t-shirt on the back has a graphic print of different scenes of Kobe's career, and the hoodie has the Quasar, the Galaxy Quasar, and red, white, and blue, and a Kobe Jones 13 on the back. So that dropped today, like I mentioned. And then the Galaxy are also opening another mini pitch along with Kobe Jones in partnership with City National Bank and the U.S. Soccer Foundation at Octavia E. Butler Magnet Middle School in Pasadena. They're opening this mini pitch on Friday, April 24th. So at the time of listening tomorrow, and obviously this only expands youth access to soccer, which is what we want, right? We want to grow the game. And of course, the biggie, guys, the biggie, the statue unveil. I'm interested to see what this thing looks like. It's going down on the 26th at 1 p.m. The Galaxy on their socials right now have the breakdown of the day, like by hour basically, and like where you need to stand, like where you need to be if you want to catch this. Of course, your very own Nandies and Bobby J's will be covering this at the digs on Sunday. So look for us if you're there. Come get a slap, come get a sticker. But yeah, man, this is a big event. This is at 1 p.m. And yeah, this is the beginning of festivities for the day, and that will culminate with Kobe Jones' statue being unveiled. He'll be the third Galaxy player to be immortalized in bronze and statue in Legends Plaza. Pretty soon, hopefully one day we'll have Don Raul out there as well. and Cien. But chat, let us know who you think should be number 4. We got number 3. That's Kobe Jones. Who should number 4 be? Which Galaxy legend, or should it just be like a dope ass statue of Cosmo? Let us know. Guys, really quickly, VCFC, their next match is against St. Louis City 2 on Sunday, April 26th at 2 p.m. That'll be away. That is a clash with the table leaders. They can close the gap to 2 points, I believe. Go ahead and check out VCFC. And Ananda, I always say this, we got to make it out to the Willie roll. That needs to happen, man. And if you weren't up on game, there was a bunch of games that happened yesterday, not just the Galaxy game, but not all teams were in action. But there were a bunch of games that were crackers. Ananda, I'm sure you caught some of them while the Galaxy were in weather delay. I mean, I hope so. Did you catch any of them?
I did not. No, I was just sitting around like, when is this game going to start? Honestly. Yeah, I did. And then I did try to catch a little bit of, I caught a little bit of San Jose and then a little bit of LAFC as well. Durante.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of really good, I never really have, the opportunity to catch a lot of the Eastern Conference games, and it was really good to see some of them. But I suppose I should tell you guys about them. Ananda, are you ready for your MLS Roundup Match Day 9?
Hit it.
Here it is, y'all. Here's your MLS Roundup Match Day 9. NYCFC and Cincy played to an 8-goal 4-4 draw thriller with Nicolas Fernandez and Kevin Denke each getting a brace. The other New York team, New York Red Bulls, also played to a 4-4 draw with Charlotte getting a point behind Ty Baribo's hat trick. Toronto and Philly also played to a draw, a 3-3 tie that saw Josh Sargent get off the mark. Martin Ojeda also got a brace and led Orlando City to a much-needed 4-1 win. The Revs took down Atlanta United 2-1 away from home. Minnesota also handled business on the road with a 1-0 win over Dallas. Houston heaped more misery on San Diego with the 1-0 home win. LAFC and Colorado played to a scoreless draw, while San Diego stayed hot with a 5-1 win over Austin that featured a former G Preston Judd brace. While the Galaxy's next opponent, RSL, was blanked at home by the champs Inter Miami in a 2-0 loss. And now your league leaders for the match day are San Jose and Nashville. And that was your MLS Match Day 9. Ding. I feel like there should have been like a little
the more you know
at the end. Yeah, so something like that. All right, enough shenanigans. Come on, let's take this seriously. We're talking soccer here. And we have a good guest to get to. So without further ado, let's bring on the homie. Let's bring on one of our frequent guests, contributors, just a homie that knows ball. Like I said, he writes stuff. We'll let him go ahead and tell you where. Andrew Hernandez. Andrew, welcome back.
Guys, thank you guys so much for having me. It's so great to be back. Feels like home.
Oh man, welcome home. Charlie, welcome home. Man, people out there are probably like, why is this guy in such a good mood? The Galaxy lost. Well, we get to all hang out and talk together about what happened and kind of like work through it and kind of work through this pain together. But man, thank you so much for being back with us. We do appreciate it. You know the score. You've been here a couple times, so I hope you have that one-word reaction locked and loaded and ready. And no, Vanney out isn't a one-word reaction that I'll accept.
That's 2 words
at the moment.
Disqualified. No,
God, not even if I say it really fast.
No. That's that's more of an overarching philosophy for life for you, but
for life. Just in general, Vanney out. Don't invite him inside. Oh, poor guy. But I do have my reaction loaded. I do have it ready. My one word. It's cooked. I feel like we're just cooked in every sense. Obviously, on the scoreline, we were cooked. In terms of play, we were cooked. Absolutely, we never got into the match like Rob was talking about. Physically, we're cooked. There was like 3 guys who went down and had to get off the pitch to get treated for injuries. Some didn't return. Joao Klauss, especially the big one, now needing surgery, not coming back until the World Cup. The Galaxy's top goal scorer, easily our best player, is now, another DP injured long term for the Galaxy. So cooked in that regard as well. It's just cooked. So it's not great after that game, but yeah.
You're not wrong. It wasn't great at all. I mean, we've talked about all the different negative adjectives, right? And just sometimes they just don't measure up. I mean, estoy decepcionado, vos. Like you said, Ananda, like, we cover this team now, all three of us, but it wasn't, we're not so far removed from a time where we were in the stands and hanging out with our friends, and the highlight of our goddamn week was going to the digs and seeing the team play well.
Yeah.
And there's a whole damn generation of Galaxy fans that don't get that. And it's do it for the kids, if anything. Give them something, man. But anyway, I'm the old man ranting at a cloud right now. I'm sorry.
No, it's true, and because you got fans like even our friend Peyton. He came in through the Zlatan era, and I mean, obviously 2024 was great, but imagine all those fans that came through the decade of doom. Right? Not fun.
Yeah, no, man, it definitely is not. But let's get to the reason we're all here. I mean, let's talk about this match. I mean, it seemed like for a split second they were going to do it again. They were going to pull out a draw from a 2-0 down. It was not to be. We'll talk about it all, but let's start where we always start, with this lineup. Andrew, what did you think about Greg's starting 11? Did anything surprise you here?
Yeah, I think obviously there's one thing that stands out, and it's unfortunate. I think the situation, this is definitely something I've thought a lot about, but Ruben Ramos Jr. in for Joseph Painter. It's not necessarily, I don't think it's anybody's first immediate thought when you think of who can come in for JP. Harbor Miller, I think, who came in and looked good when he did come on, is probably closer to that for me.
Exactly.
Another player who I have lots of questions about is Tucker Lepley, who can't even get onto team sheets. He can't even get invited on the bus.
Tucker, bro? Like, I'm gonna put blood on a milk carton and be like, "Have you seen this man? Let him."
Seriously,
I'm gonna start a hashtag free Tucker.
I don't know what he did. If he made Vanney a bad cup of coffee, from what I've seen, his Tucker is fantastic. So I don't think that's the case. But
bro, he made a fantastic cup of coffee at the benefit.
Amazing.
Coffees were dank. The burritos were scrumptious. Like, I don't think it's the food at all.
It's definitely not. And from what we've seen, it shouldn't be the football. He hasn't exactly lit things up. But when you think of players who maybe haven't delivered, he's not necessarily the first thing you think of there. One, because he hasn't necessarily gotten a lot of chances. But when he does come on, I think especially last year, I think of early on in the season, 2025, when JP was also injured. We were playing CONCACAF, had lots of fixtures. Tucker Lepley was there in that left wing spot.
Dog.
And he was a dog, exactly. He performed.
Such an engine.
I think of something that Dylan mentions a lot. A lot of his players, his words is, it looks like they don't give a fuck. Tucker Lepley is one of those who always looks like he gives a hell of a, just a lot. He cares so much. So astounding to me that it's not even on a team sheet. And it's a tough position to put Ruben Ramos Jr. in as well. That's kind of been the big point, the big conversation regarding this decision. It is a tough spot to put a young kid in who has hardly gotten minutes. You think of these players who are more match ready. Why leave them on the bench and call this kid up away when he doesn't have strikers to play off? He has Marco Royce, but we hardly got the ball up that far. So very, very difficult, I think, decision from Vanney.
You're throwing him into a hard situation, right? Absolutely.
But when it comes to this lineup, it's obviously a rotated lineup. We talked about Royce is playing that 9, obviously because of Klauss. But man, it's just, that's really the one thing that really stands out to me is just why. And I don't think there's really a salient reason for it. Everything else, you're doing what you have to do. And I don't really have qualms with anything else. I think everything else is the right move. That's just one massive red flag that stands out like a sore thumb to me.
Anandita, what you got to say about this lineup, dog?
Well, the only other thing that I wanted to ask Andrew was, Andrew, Maya Yoshida got his 5th straight start And so that would make it up to this point, Andrew, 5th straight start in 15 days.
A lot of games.
I think it's a lot of games, right? You think about from the start of basically leg 1 of Toluca, the Galaxy played 5 games in 15. We talked about this stretch coming into it in our previews. Greg said that Garces has been sort of, nursing this injury that won't go away. I think it's the toe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
He's
got the shack right now.
But what do you think, Andrew? I mean, he's had a couple of higher profile mistakes in the last couple of games. I mean, do you think that was the right call?
I think so. It's one of those, people think of it as an excuse for Vanney, and I think it is, but it's also valid. Like, you can't just help but bring it up. But Vanney can't score for PEC. He also can't prevent these kind of mistakes. And it's kind of been a big topic for Greg Vanney defenders. We think of players like Zonka, also had high-profile mistakes. And you think this is an experienced quality player. The idea that you bring him in is because you can count on him and not have to worry about that. When all of a sudden that falls through, you're like, okay, as a manager, what can you do? So I don't fault him for that, but again, I go back to weeks and weeks and weeks ago. But is this continued trend of not rotating maybe the right times? And yes, the injuries have been difficult, but I want to know the situation with Rindov as well. He was on the bench, warmed up. He was a player who to me looked really good last year. I thought was gonna get the opportunity to take a step, but hasn't gotten on the pitch. I know he was injured, but he's recovered from it. It seems he's available. I don't know. What's the situation? I'm not sure why Vanney is icing out some of his options when he has so few already.
These aren't bad points, Ben. Where is Chris Rindolph? Where is Tucker Lepley? Ananda, what you got for a player spotlight for this match?
Yeah, I mean, it's the guy that made his second career start, and we just talked about his performance. I think you guys, the context around this is not sure if this was the right situation for Ruben to come into, unfortunately, because you look at his stat sheet, and honestly, guys, he didn't do a whole lot, right? 6.0 rating from FOTMob, only had 25 touches in this game, 0 touches in the opposition box, was not threatening at all. Little to none expected goal involvement, right? He actually had more defensive contributions, a tackle and a clearance in our own box. I think he was doing his defensive work there when we're, Columbus put us under the cosh. There's that word for you, Rob. And so, yeah, more defensive contributions than touches in the opposition box, which is wild. And you look at his heat map, you look at that big sort of red blob there on the left and the defensive half. So he was spending more time in this match defending against guys like Max Arfton and then Picard when he moved over to that side. And that's not where you want your left winger to be, right? So I think all in all, this was just a tough game for Ruben Ramos, guys. And I think it's quite harsh for us to make any judgments from this 62-minute performance. I think we need to see more. I think we need to see where he's best, where he can be the most effective, whether it's on the left or down the middle. That's the problem too. I haven't watched Ruben enough to where I don't know what type of player he is. I haven't seen enough of him. Maybe the fans, the VCFC fans who see him a lot will know a little bit better. But yeah, I just think, like, why put him in this game when you've had a track record with Harbor Miller and Mauricio Cuevas, by the way, who played a really nice game at left wing in Austin. So that's the conversation around this one.
Things that make you go, Right? Anyway, for those of you that didn't get a chance to watch this match or blessedly did not find out the scoreline or did not have to relive the pain by writing about it and then having an instant reaction about it and then now doing a reaction about it like Ananda and I just so many cuts on this one. Well, let me put you up on game. This is what went down. Message. Like I mentioned, the Galaxy came a crossbar away from rescuing a point after being 2-0 down, just like they did against Dallas. But again, that crossbar blessedly let soccer win, because in truth, the Galaxy did not deserve the tie. They played pretty wretched soccer for about 85 minutes in this match, with just a few glimpses of decent soccer through Joseph Painsil. And so, like I mentioned, the soccer gods were appeased, and Columbus got the 3 points in a 2-1 win over the Galaxy at home. But again, if you missed this one, the Galaxy went down 2-0. Mayoshida, we mentioned him. He committed another high-profile mistake. That's 2 games in a row. He misplaced a pass pretty much directly to the crew attack. Columbus midfielder Hugo Picard, the worst haircut in the game, crosses for Daniel Gazdag to score the opener just before halftime. And I swear he's going to keep on torturing the Galaxy now that I keep talking about his haircut. I know it. Diego Rossi would keep his cool through traffic after receiving a Max Arfston pass. And this was an impressive goal for me, guys, because he really does keep his cool. Like, he's in a lot of traffic, and he pulls a little feint on Garces to go ahead and get himself free.
Yeah.
And score this one. Basically like a run of the mill, just like pass it into the net at that point. But it's because all the work was done with that wicked feint that he puts on Garces. Late, the Galaxy put something together. It just, when you thought like, hey, this game was a wash, it's been terrible. Like Ananda says, like we always say here on this pod, it's the hope that kills you. They get one back through Gabriel Peck, who scores his first of the year. Joseph Painsil again comes on, changes the Galaxy's outlook on life and the game, and he's the one that feeds Gabriel Peck for the goal here. And again, Gabriel Peck hits a crossbar. When he hits this, Ananda, I'm like, oh, this has a chance. And then clang, and I was like,
yep.
Well, again, this is justice. I didn't think they deserved anything from the game. They just didn't play like it, but
yeah,
they almost did. And that like also tells me something about this team, is that even when they play bad, like they can have 3 or 4 minutes where they play well and can get a couple of goals, and you're just like, where was this all game, Doc? Like, where was this all game
for the first 80 minutes? Yeah,
exactly. But that brings me to,
well, it makes you tear your hair out or tear your beard out, like Andrew was just doing right now. It's like WTF, right?
Yeah. Well, it brings me to my next point, which is where was that the entire rest of the game? Well, again, it was suffocated, it was stifled by Columbus's press, and it's one of the things that I was talking about at the top of the show. Yes, the Galaxy played badly, but Columbus played really, really well. Their defensive game plan against the Galaxy bore fruit like a to the T. Really quick, we have a super chat here through our good friend XPH. Muchas gracias, XPH. We do appreciate it.
I love the nod to Tucker, by the way. 21, nice work there, son. Very nice. I like that.
Hey, Rob, Ananda, Andrew, Zanka, Garces, Maya. Insert name here. Silly, horrible giveaways are a pattern with Galaxy. It's consistent even in the ring year 2024, but the offense put a band-aid over that flaw.
It's true.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
True.
You're not wrong. It's a pattern of they just shoot themselves in the foot. And, I don't see other teams really making these like same mistakes like game in and game out. Like, or is it that I just see it so much because like we cover this team? But I think we would be up on game if there was a team that was like consistently game after game doing stuff like this, right? Like I guess we would see it in the highlights at the very least. We cover the game enough to read the news and be informed. And again, I'm not seeing any other team that's really making these kinds of mistakes. But like I mentioned, that press caused a lot of these mistakes. I think it's responsible for that Mayoshida giveaway. So I guess my question here for you, Andrew, was the Galaxy doomed from the start? Was the Crew's press unbeatable? Was their game plan just too good on the day?
I think so. It reminded me. It was a combination of game plan and the like a massive. I think golf and quality, intent, belief, from both sides. It reminded me a lot of. It's like the inverse of our game against Charlotte. That 3-0, you know, when things were looking good. You remember at the beginning of the season when we were excited and we were talking about this defense first system, and Vanney didn't give a shit about scoring, and we're like, yeah, Vanney, you go. And you remember that? That was a fantastic game. It was the
Like,
Galaxy dominating
yeah.
back then when things were nice, the good old days. But we dominated that game. Charlotte never got in it. Our press was looking good. It's the exact same thing that Columbus did to us. So it's just, yeah, when the game plan is the game plan, and when the game plan doesn't change at all, and then the other team is just doing what they're doing, you are doomed from the start. Like we said at the beginning, you're cooked. What are you gonna do except kind of lie down and take it? Which is true, all of it, because like you just talked about, Rob, as soon as there's a little bit of belief, hope, this team all of a sudden becomes the 2024 Galaxy and makes things happen, and they drive the front foot. I understand the power mentality and all of this, but these players have to do that from the first whistle, and it's something we've said for years. Just like Herb was talking about with the defensive issues being a constant LA Galaxy thing, so has this kind of tendency, bad habit, to not wait until the 70th, 80th, 90th minute to really kick into gear. And it's one of those things that will make you pull your beer haired out, you know? So there's just a lot of that in this team. A lot more, like you talked about, Rob, a lot more defensive mistakes than other teams, a lot more injuries, it feels like nowadays, than other teams. I have no clue what's in that Herbalife. It's definitely messing up the look of the kit. I don't know if it's messing up the players. I don't want to get sued, but something's going on. There's just so much of these things that, like, yeah, they happen to other teams, but it just seems to happen to us all the time. So I don't know. In the chat, I've looked at this comment that Pottermus has been saying. It's being repeated a lot. Things that make you go, yup, that's Vanney ball. That's the LA Galaxy. You almost don't even need to watch the game, and you knew what was going to happen. I kind of half didn't, to be honest, to be 100% frank. I was watching my Anaheim Ducks play their first playoff game, win their first playoff game in 8 years. I was having a fantastic time.
Hey,
there's a young team that can fight, is organized, has fantastic coaching. So I was having two very different viewing experiences at the same time. So it's just highlighted, I think, to me, the difference of an organization that's doing things the right way and one that obviously isn't getting results for, I think, there's only one reason.
Well, and to your point, Andrew, about like the lack of adjustments, we've seen evidence of when the adjustments come quicker, something happens. You look at a game like Dallas, you're down 2-0. Greg makes the adjustment quickly in the first half. He puts Hack into the midfield, advances him forward, and lo and behold, 2 goals before the first half, right? Like, you need to see that quicker of an adjustment. When you saw that Marco Royce was dropping to the midfield because he had to, because he's one of the only technically superior players against that press, you saw the fruits of that labor in the second half, especially when you had a guy like Joe running past it. So why not make that change earlier? Again, the whole Ruben thing. I mean, look, even if you hook him at 45 minutes, I don't think it's an indictment on him. I think he understands his role in his team to fill in some big shoes there on the left wing. So it is what it is. Like, yeah, I think we've seen the evidence of quicker adjustments. They actually do work.
Yeah. Guys, only, I don't even know what the silver lining, I guess, factoid, a positive that we could take from this match is that the Galaxy did score a goal, which extends their scoring streak to
scored a goal in the MLS.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it happened, right? So he scored his first one, but the Galaxy extended their scoring streak to 18 consecutive matches, the longest active streak in MLS. Congratulations. Things that make you go, that doesn't matter. Not at least not in the table. So Anando, why don't you give us that one key stat that for you was the key to the game?
Yeah, well, I have the box score here up. Take that banner off there. I have the box score up, and you guys can see it's a complete domination. 54% possession, for Columbus, 246 for the Galaxy. 14 total shots with 4 on target. The Galaxy only had 1 shot on target all match. And this is one of my key stats, Rob. Didn't even make the keeper work. Did not make the keeper work once. 0 goalkeeper saves. I mean, the one was, again, completely against the run of play towards the end of the game. But before that, Rob, the other 87 minutes, the Galaxy didn't make the keeper work. Right.
Nadita de nada.
And that's why, going back to my word frustrated, these are the things that will frustrate the life out of Galaxy fans with not being in the front foot in any portion of this game. The other thing too, and I mentioned it yesterday during the IR, which is duels won. Vanney talked about the lack of winning in your individual battles. Columbus 41, Galaxy 37. So losing that. And again, things that make you pull your hair out. Look at this momentum chart, guys. Complete and utter domination. The black there is Columbus. I would say that's 80% of the game in Columbus's favor. So yeah, this was not a fun watch. And the Galaxy basically didn't show up until the very end. So until it was too late. And that's why we have the title card for this is too little, too late.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely true. I mean, I said it in my article. I mean, anybody that sees a 2-1, they're like, oh, it was close. It wasn't. Like, they only put something together in the last couple of moments.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, you saw the momentum match, the momentum chat right there, right? I mean, they basically weren't able to cross midfield in the first half. They lived camped out. They were hemmed in. And I mean, you were just like, at any moment now, this levy's going to break, and it eventually did. But then to add insult to injury, you copped this loss. During this loss, Julian Aude goes out injured. Then you go into the post-match press conference, and we really hope you joined us for that. Shameless plug for post-match press conferences and instant reactions for Laguna Galaxiana. Go ahead.
Streams are so clutch. You guys have no idea. Definitely show them some love.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
I got all flustered. I forgot what I was saying. Anyway, no, we found out that Joao Klauss.
Yep.
What's up?
I was gonna say Greg dropped the bomb.
Yeah, no, Greg let us know. I mean, what was this? Josh's question, or was that Damien's question?
Damien, I think it was Damien's question.
Damien, yeah. Shout out Damien Calhoun.
Yeah, they needed more ruining.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the Galaxy had just copped the loss, and then Damien asked about Joao Klauss, and Greg lets us know that he's out until after the World Cup. He is going to have surgery. It looks like that is actually going to be. Excuse me. Actually, I just got too emotional about it. It looks like it's going to actually be better for him to have surgery to cope to help with this healing process. So now the Galaxy are without Joao Klauss, Nascimento, Eric Thommy, all as offensive options. So how do the G's cope with all those losses? Ruben Ramos talked about the Galaxy, just needs to have that next man up mentality. But who's going to step up at number 9? They don't really have a true number 9 right now. I mean, Christian Ramirez is probably like, see, I told y'all to keep me, yo. I'm right here.
And Preston Judd's all forget y'all.
Yeah,
I'm playing for Bruce now.
So I mean, this is an opportunity for yeah, exactly. Billy Sharp is like, hey, you guys told me I would be sticking around.
Did someone say Chicharito? Never mind.
No, come on, man.
All right,
the show canceled.
Whoa,
Chicharito. This is gonna be your Fox analyst here coming up for the.
This
World
is how
Cup
desperate the Galaxy are, by the way. Yeah.
I know. But yeah, I mean, Ruben Ramos talked about it. Who's the next man up? I mean, let's see if one of those young lads can step up, because there is no true number 9. So I mean, maybe you play Joseph at the false 9, and then maybe Harbor Miller plays on that wing, or Mauricio Cuevas plays on that wing. Who knows? But Greg's got to figure something out. But even more troubling is that there's been a real lack of intensity in this match. And I've called it out before, like normally Greg's team plays for him, but there's already been a couple times this season when I've seen them kind of been lackluster and not playing for him. Really quickly, we do have another super chat from the homie Adam. Thank you so much, Adam. He says Galaxy gave Crew their first home win of the season. Yeah, just these are the unwanted records the Galaxy always seem to be copying, right?
I think I've seen that they were bottom at the time at the start of the game. I'm not sure if that was accurate, but they were
Close
near
to
there.
there. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, but other teams are, you know, beating playoff teams. The Galaxy are losing to bottom of the table teams. That's kind of the difference. We have another super chat. Big Tom Tremblay, gracias. He says nothing wrong with JT booting it downfield and then us trying to win the ball back. The midfield three we played has a work rate to have a go at it. Yeah, I mean, if you're not getting it done with the fundamentals of playing out from the back like Greg wants, I mean, you gotta try something else, and that's sometimes route one stuff. The problem is, Tom, now they really just don't even have anybody to body up with and try to win that first ball. You know, they don't have that striker like
Nor the second. Yep.
Yeah, I know. I mean, and then you got to look at like who that midfield is. Yeah, they have the work rate, I think, to try to win that ball back. But yeah, winning that ball is going to be a hard proposition. I mean, Winder's not really like a huge guy. I mean, he's tall, but like he's not like huge and beefy. Surreal's like, you know, a little bit not on the shorter side, but like, you know, not huge. Same goes. I mean, Surreal's probably like the beefiest one. Not Surreal. Sanabria probably like the beefiest one out of the three of them. And he's not even like just like a tank, you know. So, I mean, that's a tough one. I think it works a lot better with Klauss, Tom.
Yeah,
I think so.
Christian is laughing right now if he's listening.
What's up?
Yeah.
Christian Ramirez is laughing right now again if he's listening.
Yeah, no, actually, you hadn't heard this, I don't think, but he stated on a couple of different news programs, and this is, you know, verifiable. You guys can Google this. You know, you guys can Google why is Lacuna Galaxiana Christian Ramirez's favorite podcast, and then you know you guys will find out. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, just a guy likes the podcast. Thank you, Christian Ramirez. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, like I was saying, like this one was one like troubling because not only did they not put in a performance, but I saw the team lacking that intensity, and I wasn't the only one. Greg saw it as well. I mean, he spoke about this moment, Andrew, that I had to ask him about because he said I see the team walking and instead of jogging instead of running, and running instead of sprinting, you know. And so I was like, is it your opinion that, you know, the team isn't working hard enough, or, you know, they're not having the work rate? And he said it's not about like the belief and you know, the job or anything like that, you know, but it's just basically just from what I understood, it boils down to they're just not understanding the roles really. And I'm like, okay, well, you know, if they don't understand the roles, then again, you have to sub them out with somebody who maybe is, or, you know, or give somebody else a shot, or reinforce those fundamentals in training. But I mean,
try new roles, which may be a super controversial, crazy idea for Greg Vanney, but Tom said, try something different, boot it up, play the long ball.
Yeah,
if we try to play the long ball, you have JP back in there, someone to chase. We don't maybe we don't need someone to win a header, but you could put a ball in behind into space, and JP can win it some of the time.
Yeah, I mean, he's certainly quick enough. But I'm gonna give you something that I know you've been waiting for. This is your open forum right here, because like I mentioned, one of the hallmarks of Greg's teams, even when they've been losing, is effort. And recently, with that quote and with the certain things that I've seen, I'm starting to see a lack of intensity, sometimes lack of effort. Andrew, is this a sign to you that Greg might be starting to lose the locker room? And, you know, I hear criticism about this question because people go like, well, who cares if he's lost the locker room? Like, the results aren't there. Like, you know, it shouldn't matter. But it very much matters, because if, you know, that's where it starts. If he's lost the locker room, then the results aren't going to get better. I mean, if he still has the players with them, there's still hope that something can be done to salvage the situation. But the question remains, has he started to lose the locker room?
I think that's an interesting question, and I think I'm gonna say yes, short answer. But to expand on it, I want to reframe the question a little bit. I don't think it's necessarily that he's lost the locker room. I think he might have lost Will Kuntz, and that kind of has a trickle down effect. There was that game, the last home game a couple of weeks ago. The Galaxy lose, and we see first off the Greg Vanney taking longer than usual to come out. Will Kuntz apparently being in the locker room and going straight with him together. And then being Will Kuntz there at that press conference for the first time, Josh pointed it out to everybody. That's a massive, that's not normal for that to happen.
It's not.
And obviously, I'm all of us who've been in the press box, anybody, like, we can let people know that's a massive red flag. That means something. That's, as a reporter, as people maybe on the outside, not as close with these inside sources, at least personally, you try to be careful not to read into too many things. Like you don't want to make assumptions, right? You want to report things. You don't want to come to fake conclusions. But
yeah, you don't want to speculate.
Exactly. I appreciate that's the word I was looking for. But this is one of those things that does have a little bit more meat on that bone that maybe you.
Yeah, no, it's certainly unusual. It's certainly something we don't see all the time.
Yeah.
So that was a visible action, and that's starting to make me think. And what we're seeing, what you're talking about, Rob, this lack of effort is kind of a trickle down effect. I think there's been more private conversations, like obviously midweek, and maybe this is something that we've been calling for. There's been a quiet decision to maybe move on. Fingers crossed. Hopefully in the summer, where right now, as we've talked about, there's a lot of fantastic options coaching wise. The World Cup is a great window. It's a perfect time to refresh. This team feels like it needs a refresh. And it seems like, to me, again, just that Will Kuntz being in that press conference, it's kind of highlighting that maybe they're starting to see that need of a refresh. And what that tells the players, I think the players see that. The players, if us on the outside can make that conclusion, I think they definitely can. And it's difficult to play for a manager who's out the door, especially when you're thinking, I'm probably out the door too. The World Cup is coming up. We need a refresh. This team is going to look a lot different. So why bust your ass? Why risk this injury when you could prepare for the next chapter? Pretty much, it's all collusion. I have no clue, but that's just my read on the situation. I think he's lost the locker room as a result of losing Will Kuntz.
Well, you did mention turning the page. This one was washed, guys. Again, the Galaxy didn't play well. Almost got something. Very justly did not. I don't really have any defending the badge winners. I guess I would have an honorable mention in Peck that he got his first goal. But really, I mean, the entire team played pretty dirty for 80 plus. I don't know. Ananda, Andrew, do you guys have a defending the badge winner?
No, that was like I said, that was a really frustrating performance to watch. And as you're talking there, Andrew, I'm just wondering too, like, and this is not even just on Greg, this is about the whole team. Like, where are those leaders? Where are those characters that just like will grab someone by the scruff of the neck and just be like, hey, like, this is not acceptable. Like this can't keep going. Like, this is not
where is the Roy
acceptable. Whether it's exactly, like whether it's a certain play or whether it's a certain 90 minutes or in the locker room. Like, you look at those leaders like Maya Yoshida and Marco Royce. Like, I know Maya's probably a little bit more vocal than Marco, because Marco says, I don't really talk much, but y'all better listen when I do, right, in that press conference. But I just look at that group and I'm like, guys, where is the soul? Where is the heart and soul? Where is the passion? Where are those guys that, sometimes you can't coddle these players, and you've got to slap them on the hand and like show them tough love. And I'm going to say this, and this might be like kind of like an interesting thought, but really, if you think about it, the fans are the ones that are trying to give these players a kick up the backside because they care. And like a lot of fans, are expressing their displeasure, but really it's out of passion because they care so much about this club. And now they're seeing it in the state that it is. So I'm just wondering, like, where are those voices in the locker room at the moment?
We have another super chat from Oh, I'm sorry, Andrew. What were we saying?
No. Dale.
We have another super chat from the homie Adam. Muchas gracias again. He says, "Too bad Coons or Beckerman will never fire Greg Vanney, which is disrespectful, keeping him throughout his temporal tenure with the Galaxy only one ring." You know, I do think that Kuntz eventually, if the line in the sand that he sets has been crossed, that yeah, he will go ahead and relieve Greg of his duties. But I don't know where that line is. I mean, it's different for me than it is for I'm sure there's been a lot of fans that would have fired Greg last year. So everybody's line is different. We don't know where Greg's is.
And remember, guys, there's also like a lot of
Kuntz.
Like, there's also a lot of like X's and O's, meaning like the business side of this. Of course, Kevin Baxter's talked about this a couple of times with, paying 2 salaries at one time, because obviously you'd have to buy out Greg's contract. Then you have to play the coach that's incoming. Of course, you're probably going to have to go through lengthy interview processes to make sure that these candidates are the right person for the job, right? There's a lot of those things. And I'm hoping like those contingency plans are being worked on at the moment, so that when you need to break glass in case of emergency, you have that plan in place. So whatever happens. And look, I'm going to put my trust in Will Kuntz in the front office that they are doing that, especially based on Will's track record. But we'll see.
Yeah,
I like Joe 13's cool comment. Yeah. Are you saw that one too, Andrew?
I was about to highlight that. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is good. I mean, that extension about to get made into a lecture in sports management courses.
Case study.
Yeah. No, it could very well be. But what's crazy is that every time like the heat has started to get like really overwhelming, the Galaxy have turned in some kind of a performance, and they'll have another opportunity to do so this weekend against RSL. That's going to be the primetime Sunday night soccer matchup on Apple TV. So go ahead and tune in. Of course, we've talked all about the festivities with the statue unveil for Kobe Jones. Again, a really special night for all old-time Galaxy fans, all G's really, because know your history. But if you've been a Galaxy fan for a while, this one is really special. And the Galaxy need a result against Real Salt Lake, which has been playing some good soccer with a young, energetic, just ruthless, deadly team, incisive.
Yeah.
But the Galaxy do go into this match leading the all-time series against RSL 26-2015, including a 1975 record at home. In the most recent meeting, the Galaxy defeated RSL 2-0 at the Digs on May 31st, 2025. Lucas Sanabria and Joseph Paintsel scored the goals. RSL won 2-0 at home. The meeting before that, LA has won 7 of the last 12 home meetings with Real Salt Lake, and hopefully the Galaxy can take advantage of this. RSL has conceded in 14 straight matches, and a little bit of Galaxy history here. Landon Donovan leads the series in goal contributions with 25, 13 goals, 12 assists. Going into this match, the Galaxy are in 11th place after 9 games played. They are on 9 points with 1 point per game, 2-4-3 record, 13 goals for, 15 goals against, -2 goal differential. After 8 games played, RSL is in 6th place on 16 points, 2 points per game, 5-2-1 record, 16 goals for, 12 goals against, a +4 goal differential. Their last match, however, was a 2-1 loss at home to Inter Miami. I mean, DePaule and Suarez scored bangers in that one. Just worldies. So really, really hard to take that loss, especially to class goals like that. But before that, they were unbeaten in 6, guys. This is a team that is very good, has been very good this year. Their last game was that 4-2 home win over San Diego before that Miami loss. 3-1 home win over SKC before that. 2-2 away draw with San Diego. 2-1 home win over Austin. 3-2 away win over Atlanta. And then started everything off with a 2-1 home win, surprisingly, over Seattle. They've scored 11 goals in the last 5 matches. Guys, this team, I've mentioned it has a couple of young stars here. The Galaxy have not been good against transition defenses. Is that the number one worry for you guys having to contend with this RSL team, or are you guys maybe looking at something else? Andrew, let's start with you.
I don't think I'm looking at that specifically, but mainly because any system seems to give us trouble, to be honest. And any way we play, we set seems to be difficult, whether it's the low block or we're trying to play counter. It's just difficult. So Greg Vanney, the team, the coaching team, they're gonna do their homework. They're gonna set up the best they think they can. And I think if I was in that room with them and I heard them explain everything, every single decision, I might agree with it. Who knows? I haven't agreed with a lot at the end, but maybe, who knows? If I'm in the room where it happens and I hear it, maybe it makes sense. But all of that to say, I'm just nervous in general. So it's hard to say I'm nervous about that specifically.
He's like, you want me to pick one thing to be nervous about? What about you, Nandita? I think you're on mute.
Oh, we can talk about the tactics a little bit later, but I'm honestly mostly concerned about the attitude. Because if I look at that front four, let's say for RSL, definitely the front three, they're hungry. They're young. They're hungry. Diego Luna's out there to prove people wrong, like especially with the national team and everything. And there's a lot of guys on that team like looking to prove themselves, and you can't really understate that type of attitude and that type of hunger. And so the question that I have now is, what is the Galaxy's appetite for that? Like, what is their attitude that's going to come into this game? Because if they're going to be more hungry than you, you're gonna lose first balls and second balls, like we've been talking about earlier, right? You're gonna be losing dual matches, or duels in the stat sheet at full time. So to me, it's more about the attitude, Rob, than the tactics. You got to get that right first before anything else.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time. The mentals, man, the mentals. The Galaxy, of course, we've already talked about KLAUSS being out for the rest of the at least for the half year until after the World Cup. Thommy also out. Nascimento out. Jakob Bless is doubtful. Julian out doubtful. I mean, they got a sick ward over there, but so does RSL. Arith Pio, Jesus Barea, Amika Eneli, Lucas Engel, Juan Arias, Philip Quinton, Tyler Wolf. Did we get Kobe Henry? Kobe Henry also. I mean, they have a bunch of injured players as well. So, but I think they're a little bit more set up to withstand the losses to their lineup, as they aren't like main contributors like the Galaxy has. KLAUSS missing, who's a DP, Eric Thommy, who's a vital contributor or started to come on. But that brings us to a very important question: starting lineups. I guess the way we'll do this, Ananda, is we'll show Andrew our starting lineups, and we'll see which one he agrees with the most.
Correct.
Or if he's like, man, these are both trash lineups, this is what I would go with.
And they're both very different, Andrew, for very different reasons. So take your pick of the lot. Rob is on the left. Mine is on the right. And by the way, just context, this is what we think Greg will do, not what we would do.
Yeah, not what we would do. What we think Gregorio Vanney would do.
Gorio. Yeah, immediately if I'm thinking Greg Vanney, I'm looking at Ananda's, and the Glesnes Garces pairing is a big question to me. Just because Glesnes is like a hopeful, doubtful. It's been I would love it personally, but I don't know. Maybe there is more exigencies, like you mentioned. Ananda Yoshida has played a lot. Did seem to pick up something of a knock. With Garces, who's starting to come back, I don't know. That it's such an interesting decision. I think Vanney's has been going probably back and forth on it, but the thought of a returning Garces, a returning Glesnes, first starts for both of them would be maybe a bit too rich in terms of risk for Vanney's blood. So I'm looking at Rob's lineup, and that seems a little bit more. Again, we're thinking what Vanney wants to do. I see that a little bit. But I think Ananda's is more of what I'd love to see, what I like to see. And I think
Yeah,
I see
yeah,
my
of
heart and my
course.
mind reflected on both of these. So I think both of you, like, you had very different assignments, but both of you guys understood your individual assignments.
The only context I'll give to mine is I think about what Greg did against Toluca. And mind you, I'm going to pull up RSL's last starting lineup. They line up in a 3-4-3, right?
Mhm.
And what they like to do a lot is overload on that side with Luna and Gozo. And Gozo runs either on the inside as the underlap or the overlap. So you're basically asking in a 4-back situation to ask John Nelson or Julian Aude, whoever the left back is, to
Not
deal
Aude,
with
probably.
those two guys, unless you want Harbor Miller, whoever the left wing is, tracking all the way back. Joseph Paintsill, take your pick of the lot, to track all the way back. And because I mean, RSL gets so much joy out of that side, and they attack you with speed, right? So I'm thinking, okay, we like that trio, even though it didn't work last time. I'm gonna raise my hand for it. Like it was silly of me to think that Cedillo, Sanabria, and Winder would be the best midfield trio. But I'm just saying, look, take out Winder. He's not playing well. He's out of form. Replace him with a center back like Emi Gata says, or Glesnes. Again, if Glesnes is out, that changes the complexion. But if Glesnes is in, like, give yourself that added security and set yourself up in a back three, and then go 2v2 against Gozo and Luna, because they're going to try to overload you on that side. And now you have the speed of Garces, just like Elinho, and I can't remember who was on the other side. So I'm just kind of looking at history. But again, Rob's, look, if Greg loves that 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1, or however you want to call it. So, you know, mine is sort of wishful thinking, but part of me thinks that Greg is going to think about that just based off of history. That was my context for that.
Yeah, but
Don't
you
disagree.
and I both know that that's a shot for you, sir. That, you know, Greg has shown us a consistent pattern, you know, and again, you're wishful thinking here. You're wishful thinking here. I mean, you
Let's
know
see.
what it's gonna be. He's consistently proven what it's gonna be. But yeah, no, like you said, we'll see.
I'm
I
gonna
think
highlight Joe here again. I like his comment, just to like back you up a little bit. Rob, Winder's gonna start. I wouldn't be surprised to see Winder start again. That just seems to be in the trend.
He's been invisible last couple of games. Yeah.
yeah,
And
no,
like,
he hasn't been great, but for some reason, Greg really likes this. I mean, I see, like, when he's on, I see like what Greg sees, but for the past couple games, he hasn't been really that great. So, you know, I could see a reason to drop him, right? But yeah, we'll go ahead and see on Sunday what the lineup is going to look like. Ananda, thank you for bringing that graphic back up, because the danger men for RSL, I mean, you've already talked about that right side of the RSL attack. I mean, Diego Luna and Xavier Gozo, they've combined for already for 8 goal involvements. Diego Luna with 1 assist, 2 goals, and Gozo with 3 goals, 2 assists. Sergio Solans leading the line, 5 goals and 1 assist, and Morgan Gilavogui, 2 goals and 1 assist. And then, you know, they're also getting goals from elsewhere, like Halascan. So you have a couple of different options, a couple of different weapons there that can score goals. Must be nice. So now we come to the part of the podcast, Carter's Seats, and we're about to give you score predictions and who we think is going to win this match. So chat, start dropping it like it's hot. You know what to do. Go ahead and let us know who you think is going to win this match between the LA Galaxy and Real Salt Lake on Sunday. Let us know what your scoreline is. But before we get to that, we are going to go do fill in the blank, and we'll start with our guest for the evening. Andrew, for the Galaxy to win this match, they have to ...
I feel like the last time I answered this question, I said pray, and that it feels like it's the immediate answer. It's very
You're all of a
difficult to
sudden very
say.
religious.
Yeah, and this team is, so maybe they are, but it feels difficult again to pinpoint one thing. It feels like a lot of things need to go right. It feels like a lot of players need to step up. Earlier in the episode, we talked about this idea of the next man up, which, yes, there is opportunity, especially right now. There's lots of vacancies, holes to fill. But I don't know about next man up. I want the team to start thinking, I'm the guy. I'm the man up. I'm up, you know? especially players like Peck. I saw Sophie Nicolucci posted during the game on Twitter. I want to see Peck start carrying this team on his back a little bit more. Definitely, he has to. Joseph Paintsel came on, and I felt like made a difference. It was like, oh, suddenly there's a DP on the pitch for the Galaxy, right? Somebody making an impact. We haven't had that from Peck. We're not going to be getting that from KLAUSS for quite some time. Paintsel is giving me some hope to that we can have a DP. So I think if for the Galaxy to win this game, maybe it's to play through Paintsel, and it's probably to play long. Stop trying to be cute, play out the back. We haven't really been that team since Ricky Puig has been missing. And we've never really moved, I think, or made the right moves to really become that team again. But we seem to be able to be a long ball team, especially when we had KLAUSS on there who could win a lot of those long ones, especially through the middle. But even still, with pace, and Pack for some reason seems to have like dropped a gear or two, but he in theory should still be a pacey winger who can win those challenges in behind. And if you can get 2 DPs, you know, constantly making runs, making threat, and having a real drive like JP did when he came on for 90 minutes, you should be able to trouble a team like RSL. And they're going to need to, because RSL is a team that already this season has scored about a goal a game. And on historically this season for the Galaxy, most teams scored more than once. So this team can probably score more than once, which means the Galaxy probably have to score more than once, which means you need Peck and Paintsel to probably turn it on for most of, if not all of these 90 minutes. And I guess maybe there is one thing, maybe I proved myself wrong. There is one thing for the Galaxy they need to do to win, but I think that's it. Play through JP, change things up, basically, to say it in a word. Not a word, but yeah.
Change things up for the Galaxy to win this match. They have to change things up. Ananda, what about you? For the Galaxy to win this match, they have to ...
Yeah, I like what Andrew said. I think the big players need to step up, and they need to be the difference, whether that's on the offensive end or whether it's on the defensive end. If Glesnes comes back, I mean, this team is only going to go as far as now Joseph Paintsel, Marco Reus, and Gabriel Peck takes them. That's the reality of the situation. We know that RSL, we know who their danger men are, and they're going to try to make the difference. So it's who can provide those moments of brilliance in this game. I think there's going to be goals going either way in this game. So, and not to, blow my cover on the prediction, but I think there are going to be goals. So the difference makers have to be there to make the difference. If not, the Galaxy are going to struggle.
All right. Well, Ananda, I know that you and Dr. Raquinho were hanging out earlier. You guys went out for some Thrifty's ice cream and then a nice panini sandwich. And you worked on some win probabilities. So go ahead and break it down. Please tell the good doctor I sent him my regards.
Yeah, for the home team, low win probabilities, 41%, 32.5% for RSL is the away team. That's a pretty high percentage. Again, anything over 30 is pretty high, and about 30% or so for the draw. A couple of match facts and some history facts in case you guys are still wondering about your predictions in the chat. Galaxy have won just one of their last 5 games. Joao Klauss has scored 44% of MLS games this season for the LA Galaxy, which means, as I said, the other players need to step up. The other 2 DPs need to step up. And there have been 3 or more goals scored in total in each of the LA Galaxy's last 5 home games. So, guys, there's going to be goals, it looks like, based off of the Galaxy.
There will be goals. All right, my Bonnie lads, we have come to the most important moment of the podcast. It is Receipts time. And since he is our guest, we will let him decide whether he wants to go first or whether he wants to go last. Well, actually, chat goes first, but you know what I mean. Andrew, would you like to go first or would you like to go last? Oh, you're on mute.
Can I go in the middle in between you guys?
Okay, we got an Andrew sandwich right on. Okay, let's hit up chat first, then Ananda. Let's see what we got here.
So Brandon, shout out Brandon. Says Galaxy lose 3-1. eSuper says 2-1 RSL. Tom says 2-1 RSL. Oh, it's not looking good, boys. La Habra says 2-1 RSL. Joe 13 Cool says 4-2 win. We'll be down 2-0 early turn. Wow. That would be a surprise. That would be a nice surprise. XPH says score prediction, Vanney out chance, and we want better chance. That's a good one.
Put that on
Yeah.
Cal sheet.
That's a good one.
Yeah, no, that is a good prediction. XPH. All right. Ananda, since I went first last time, I guess that's you, man.
Oh man. I think I am gonna go for not the reverse trap game like chat was saying for RSL. And guys, I hate to say it, but I think this is gonna be a 3-2 RSL win. I don't know why.
3-2.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a high scoring game. I think there's gonna be mistakes on both sides. I think the Galaxy are gonna push on both on the other end. I think JP and Peck are gonna get their goals, maybe one of them. I don't know why. It's just one of those gut things. This time I don't have a reason. I just feel like this is going to be an open game and RSL can hurt you. And the way the Galaxy's defense is this year, we're going to leak goals. That's for sure. We're going to leak goals against this RSL team. They're very good.
Well, Andrew, you are now the Oreo, the cream part of the sandwich. Go ahead and hook us up. What you think?
Yeah, the cream is always the best part, right?
All day.
So I think a 2-2 is what I'm going with. I agree with
Ooh.
Nanda, and
That would have been my heart pick. Yeah.
I think in the attacking sense, that's what I want to go with. I do see Joseph Paintsel having an impact, especially if he starts. I think even a player like Harbor Miller can have an impact off the bench, even starting. But I think he can impact the game. He has that drive, that confidence, I think that energy we're talking about. He's doing the right things, making the right plays, just making things happen. Another one of those players of those select few who seem to always give an F, So I think he can impact the game. It's interesting that I bring him up before I bring up Peck. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to say he can't, but I don't know. I see Harvard doing it before Peck does. If he can prove me wrong, I'd be stoked for him. I'd love for him to get 2 MLS goals back to back, start that trend up.
That'd be great.
Would be fantastic. But I do think the Galaxy make something happen. At least I hope so for the home fans, because I am not excited for the turnout after a performance like that one. They have not given people a reason to come, unfortunately, especially with the injuries and things. There's just so much, which hurts me because of the occasion, right? I really, really do hope that the Kobe Jones statue unveiling, that event turns it around and we do have a fantastic turnout, and the fans, ACB, the Riot Squad, they're, in full voice, and that the team performs for that occasion, and they deliver, right? But again, I'm just very, very afraid that we won't get such a fairy tale. But if we do, it'll be like a highlight of the season. I think we definitely got to treasure it if you're at the digs and enjoying a good game, especially with that context. But I think it'll be a 2-2. I like Rob has talked about, ourselves a very threatening team. They have lots of ways to attack you, and the Galaxy seem to find lots of ways to give up goals. So I do think the Galaxy will score, and I do think the Galaxy will score it on, and that's how I came to a 2-2.
Yeah, I agree with Andrew. I think it's going to be a 2-2. I don't think they're going to get the win, but I saw the chatter about being able to score goals, the 2 goals, and I think they're good for the 2 goals. I just don't think they're good for the shutout or to prevent conceding 2 goals either. But I think they're going to get the tie, and that's going to be like kind of par for the course for the rest of the season. So far,
the team showed spirit, they fought back.
Yeah, exactly. Like, whoa, they got a point, exactly. So I mean, there's always half wins, right? But guys, that's what I think it's going to be. 2-2. Andrew thinks it's 2-2. Ananda thinks it's going to be a 3-2 Galaxy loss. But I guess we will see, because next the Galaxy will receive RSL at home for this Kobe Jones unveil. Before we get on out of here, Andrew, go ahead and please let them know where they can find you.
Yeah, thank you guys again. Such a pleasure to be back. I had a ton of fun. Really appreciate you guys sharing your time.
Of course,
but if you want some more of this, you can find it at Nuestra Galaxia Futbolera, Los Angeles Sports Nation. I would have had a video out yesterday, today. kind of just a state of the galaxy. I got these nice meta glasses. I got blessed by a buddy of mine, but I don't know how to use them yet. So I'm still figuring out the recording. I had a great video, but turns out you can only record 3 minutes at a time, so I lost a lot of it. But I think I figured it out. So we'll have a lot more video spoken content. So if you want some more stuff that sounds a lot like this, we'll have it, and we'll keep on doing these Socratic seminars. It has been a little bit of a pause, but I do think there's a new conversation to have. There's some more stuff to talk about, so you'll probably see these guys talking about it with me on the Nuestra Galaxia Futbolera YouTube channel. We're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, and we're on Twitter, NGF Andrew. Definitely check us out there. And for the written word, it's Los Angeles Sports Nation. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Well, guys, we've come to the end of our show. On Monday, April 27th, we'll bring you our match reaction for the Galaxy's match against Real Salt Lake this weekend on Sunday. And then a week from now, on Thursday, April 30th, we'll bring you our LA versus Vancouver preview. Ananda, anything else to add before we get on out of here?
Just want to say thank you to chat. We love y'all. Thanks for being here for another Sad Foo Hours. And yeah, hopefully we have a better Foo Hours on Monday. But everyone going to the game, enjoy. Hopefully everyone's going to the Kobe statue unveiling. That should be a great event for all generations of G fans, young and old. Should be a great time. And hopefully the Galaxy can do that day, that afternoon justice by putting out a really nice performance, one that the fans can be proud of, and get that dub. So that's all I got to say, Papa.
From your lips to the Lord's ears.
Yeah, I want a bacon wrapped hot dog in front of the new statue after a nice week. If I can have that to end my week, I'll feel a lot better.
Let's get those 3 points and that bacon wrap hot dog. Geez, thank you so much for being here with us, Cuneros. Thank you so much. Y'all know what to do. If you are a frequent listener and you've already subscribed, go ahead and put someone on. Show them some love. Go ahead and let them know that you listen to the Somber Little Pod and you want to share it with them because you love them. Go ahead and show the homie Andrew some love as well. Like you said, we write things, and guys, we'll be back with you very shortly. I think there's only one thing left to say, right, Ananda?
Dale.
G's up!
I love that.